Everybody has a favorite genre, right? Some people really dig sci-fi, or fantasy, or mystery, but there's usually another, smaller, more precious niche that fills your heart and soul with giddy glee. Steampunk, or dystopia, or often, for lack of a better word, fan fiction. For me, that niche is retold fairy tales. I'm dedicating all of next month to this most treasured collection of stories in my very first themed month, which I'm calling What Else? Once Upon September. I've had a list of fairy tale books that I've been meaning to read for years, so you would think that it would be really easy for me to just find a number of books to read, right? Yes, well, it became a little more challenging when I decided to look in my library's catalog and found 50 more. While I'd love to try and read 50 books in 1 month, I seriously do not have time. So I've picked out 14 to read next month, which is seriously optimistic for me. A lot of them are recommendations I've received over the years, and a couple of them are just some really fun-sounding titles that I've stumbled across. Hopefully I'll manage to read them all. We'll see. I will be reading Princess of the Midnight Ball series by Jessica Day George, which plays off, I think, a different fairy tale in each book. I know that the first one is the 12 Dancing Princesses, and I believe the third one is a retelling of Red Riding Hood, and I can't remember what the second one is a retelling of. I will also be reading Cinder by Melissa Myra. This is a take off of Cinderella, and as I've heard, it is a space opera retelling, so I am very interested to read this one. I will also be reading Rump by Laisel Shirtliff. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right, and if I am not, I beg your humble pardon. This is a tale of Rumpelstiltskin. I will also be reading The Land of Stories by Chris Culver. This was a request from one of my viewers, you know who you are, so I will be reviewing this book at some point next month. I will also be reading Before Midnight by Cameron Doki. This is part of the Once Upon a Time series, and it is a retelling of What Else? Cinderella. And this comes highly recommended from my local children's librarian, so I am very much looking forward to reading this, and hopefully to find a new author in the retold fairy tale genres that I will love. The Sinister Sweetness of Splendid Academy by Nikki Lofton. This is a retelling of Hansel and Gretel, and I believe that it is a modern retelling, so I'm very intrigued. Fairest of All by Serena Valentino. Now this one I am very excited for. It is a story of the Wicked Queen from Snow White. It is apparently told from her perspective, and I am very interested to see how they handle that, especially since it is actually a book from Disney. You can tell from the cover because it is the Wicked Queen from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and I am very interested to see how good this book is and how they handle telling it from the villainess's perspective. A Tale Dark and Grim by Adam Gidwitz. This was a recommendation from my sister. She loves these books. It is a conglomeration of a whole bunch of different Grimm's fairy tales retold. I will also be reading Myra Mirror by Metty Ivy Harrison, and this is a retelling of Snow White. Troll's Eye View, a book of villainous tales. Now this is an anthology of different stories about different villains from different fairy tales. So there are a lot of different things going on there. The Princess Curse by Mary Haskell. This is a retelling of, I believe it's a retelling of a lot of different things, but primarily the 12 Dancing Princesses, which apparently is a big thing to retell because I've read like 4 or 5 different books retelling that already, but they're all really good, so I will definitely read another one. I first heard about this from Book Rat Misty's channel. She highly recommended it, so I am very interested to read this and see how I like it. Also, because I don't have one yet, I had to find a retelling of the Beauty and the Beast story because it is one of my all-time favorite fairy tales. So I will be reading Beauty by Robin McKinley. Throughout the month, I will obviously be reading and reviewing all these different retold fairy tales. But I will also take a look at different movie versions of retold fairy tales as my book versus movie vid this month. But wait, there's more! I will also be posting a discussion video about a topic I think we are all at least a little bit intrigued by, and that is the evolution of fairy tales and their retellings, and Walt Disney, because I am a Walt Disney fangirl. I'm calling it Retold Fairy Tales and Walt Disney. Original, huh? At the end of the month, I will wrap up with a list of my all-time top favorite retold fairy tales. It's gonna be awesome. And please, join me. Maybe there's that one book that you've been dying to read, and this is just the perfect excuse to finally get around to it. I'd love to have some fellow booktubers read along with me and discuss, or even suggest your favorite retold fairy tales. I especially would love to find some excellent retellings in the adult fiction category, so if you know of any of those, please let me know. Who knows? This might even become an annual thing. Now, just a heads up, I am doing another themed read month in October. I'm really wanting to do it on Sherlock, but I'm not sure that there's enough variety in that niche to keep me and my viewers satisfied for an entire month, so I might wind up broadening it to just mysteries in general. But let me know, are there any Sherlock-themed books other than the originals that you've really enjoyed or that you've heard of that might be good? The more obscure, the better. The more interesting, the better. I would love to hear about it. Please just let me know in the comments. So, I'm really excited for this. I've never done a themed read month before, so I'm hoping that this will be a big hit, or that at least I don't screw it up, because that is always a bonus. And just to get everybody psyched up, I have put together a list of all the retold fairy tale books that I have reviewed in the past, and you can find that here, or you can find it linked in the box below. So let us go forth and prepare for Once Upon a September. I really love the sound of that.